Hey guys, today I'm going to be going over my live guitar tones for Nights of Malice and how I use the FM9 from Fractal Audio to make that happen. So first thing you'll see is my preset. My preset is what houses everything that I'm going to need during the set. And inside of that are 8 scenes. And scenes are the different changes to the actual tone that you'll hear. I am playing my Ibanez S7521. It has a bare knuckle aftermath in the bridge position, which is the only pickup I'm gonna need for the set. And then it is also tuned to drop G. First things first, I'll show you my main rhythm tone. Now, a lot of my scenes are based off of my rhythm tone with just slight little changes. The first one being, I have the second scene set up to be a tighter noise gate for those tight chugs. The next one is still the same rhythm tone. However, instead of the whammy block shifting up 2 octaves, it's shifting down 1 octave. All of my guitars that I use for Nights of Malice are hardtail bridges, so I don't have the option to dive bomb. However, the music calls for it at times. With the whammy, I'm able to do that. That's pretty useful. Mainly in the breakdown for no quarter given, I actually use these first 3 patches. Sorry, the first 3 scenes pretty frequently. I change between them because it is a breakdown, so I'm playing those tight stalls. But then there is a part in the breakdown where it goes. And then at the end of the breakdown, so I have to be able to go up and down in the same breakdown. So it's a little bit of tap dancing, but it's really nothing crazy. Now, of course, we're all familiar with the lo-fi. I use that a couple spots in the set. Good way to contrast it would be the chorus transition at the end of Unbegotten. Now, you'll notice so far a lot of these are just trying to sound as close to the recording as possible. So I have a scene set up to have a flanger on the rhythm tone because there's this little transition section in Crimson Sand where I actually need a flanger. Now, of course, I do play guitar solos and I do play leads with Nights of Malice, so I have pretty standard lead tone. Pretty straightforward. Delay, reverb, compression, a little bit more gain. I have a different overdrive set up in front just because I like the sound of it a little bit better. And then in the song Serpentine Visages, there's a clean section, which it's actually a blend of a lightly overdriven guitar and an acoustic on the album. However, I don't really have that option, so I have just a really light overdrive on a clean tone, and it sounds pretty good. So the last scene that I have is what I call a wet lead. I actually don't need this one for the set. However, I do like this sound a lot, and I like to have it available to me. If we're at rehearsals and we're kind of jamming and just kind of messing around, I'd like to have that option available for me. So what it is just a super washed out reverby lead tone where there's actually no dry signal at all. It's completely out, so you're only hearing the delay and reverb come through. Anyone who listens to modern metal will be very familiar with that sound. So all in all, that's the sounds that I use live for Nights of Malice. To go over the rig a little bit, right here is my Sennheiser EW digital wireless. Currently, I'm just using a cable, but I just recharged my battery, so I don't want to kill them and all that. So I have the wireless there. I use that live. However, when I'm at home, I usually use a cable. So now let's actually go over how the rig is set up. So everything is living on a Temple Audio Duo 34 pedal board, and that rides in a Pelican vault case. Super durable, super dependable, works really great. The really cool thing about the Temple audio board is they have these modules, which I'll show you, and I have a couple of them in the side of the board that allow me to route all of my cabling through the pedal board itself. It keeps it nice and organized, nice and clean, nothing super complicated. And because I actually like to have 2 inputs and 2 outputs on all of my patches, that allows me to just run it all through the board. It's nothing crazy. All the cables are going to the same place. Currently, I'm using a cable, which is running into the side of the pedal board and into input 2 on the Fractal. Input 1 is actually coming in from my Sennheiser EW digital wireless. Live, I use the wireless, and I have the cable input set up as a backup. As far as outputs go, I take a direct line and send that to front of house. It's an XLR. Same thing out of input 1 from the Fractal. It goes into the XLR out of the board and out to front of house. I also have output 3 routed to a 1/4 inch out, and that is actually bypassing the cabinet simulation of the impulse response, and it is going straight to a power amp. And for Nights of Malice, we use a cab most of the time, so I have the option to bring a power amp and a cabinet if I want. If we don't need it, great, just run direct. I'm going direct no matter what, but I have the option to run a cab. And then everything is plugged into my Furman power strip over here. It's just nice and simple to keep all my power contained into one unit, and then I can just find one outlet when I'm at a venue.